Welcome to Red-White Goblin Punch. Hope you're excited to get some red-white aggro going. I opened up a few of my packs, and we opened up a Tajik, and we opened up the Goblin War Boss. So I was like, all right, let's throw together the red-white aggro deck. Why not? As far as opening hand goes, we have Stone Quarry, we have Mountain, Kanjali, Goblin Instigator. Yeah, I like this. We're going to keep on this one. Definitely like this. The only thing is our opponent's on the play, but hey, beggars can be choosers. Let's go and lead off with, unfortunately, the Stone Quarry is going to come into play tapped. Yeah, so we're just going to get into play, and we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, as far as the core of the deck, this is basically just kind of like red-white goblins, red-white aggro, red-white fun stuff, whatever you want to call it. Let's go and get down Mountain, and we're going to go for Goblin Instigator. At least get a couple more creatures on the battlefield. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. Let's go and get down Goblin Instigator. We'll get that Goblin, and then we'll pass the turn. I love how, I love the token that comes along with it. It's always nice to see, like, the Goblin in the background, but it looks so mischievous, that the little Goblin pointing, like he's definitely going to be doing something that he should not be doing. Let's go and get down Plains, and then it's going to give us access to Kanjali Sunwing. We can get down Bargain Brute. That's going to allow us to kind of start swinging in. What's going to give us the best advantage? Right now we're sitting at only 3 mana, so either way we're looking at Vanguard, and we can also get down Integrity, which allows us to kind of push past either one of these creatures. And that's going to give it +1/+1, and we gain a life. You know what, let's see if we can't catch another... Because we're going to hold on to Intervention, 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. You know, let's get down Kanjali Sunwing. I like that. It's going to allow them to kind of make our opponent's creatures come into play tapped. I do want to swing in with Goblin and... Yeah, I think we're okay with that. Yeah, we need to be aggressive. So we're going to swing in with both Goblins. That's at least going to make a block on Elvish Rejuvenator and Reassembling Skeleton on either one. And then also if they get down some sort of a creature, that's going to allow us to start swinging with Kanjali Sunwing and really kind of start putting some pressure on our opponent. And especially once we do get down Mountain and get down Captivating Crew and gain control of our opponent's creature, and then did we get down we get down tap it too. So if it enters the battlefield tap, we can untap it and then start swinging in at our opponent. So looks like our opponent's going to go for a Reassembling Skeleton out of the graveyard, and they're going to get down Assassin, which is going to enter the battlefield tap. So we do draw into Tajik, which is has haste and Mentor. Yeah, that's going to be a great play for us to go for. Let's go and get down Mountain, make sure we don't miss the land drop. Let's go and get down Tajik. And that's going to put us at swinging across for 6 and 8. Yeah, let's go and go to combat. There we go, got 2 attackers, and we should get the Mentor trigger going on Kanjali Sunwing too. So we're going to go for... No, we're going to leave that damage spell up. It's going to muck them down to 14, and then anything else. We're going to get down Vanguard. I like that. Get down Vanguard, and we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. So that'll be a good option for us to go for with Mentor too. And let's say that our opponent does decide they want to block with Assassin. That is a Death Touch, unfortunately. So if they do decide, went for Ritual of Soot, so it's going to take care of a lot of our creatures, and they're going to bring back Reassembling Skeleton. We can, like I mentioned, we can still get down Captivating Crew, which we're definitely going to go for that. So let's go get down Captivating Crew, because the cool thing about Crew is that it's also going to be a 4/3. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. The thought of grabbing a Reassembling Skeleton doesn't sound that fun, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. That's going to allow us to at least gain a creature and then start swinging at our opponent. And then we can also get down Bargain Brute and then go from there. Opponent's going to get down Harpooner. Enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target creature. Gets +X+0, X number of creature cards in your graveyard. Then you may have it fight that target creature. So it looks like we're going to have... and actually... Oh, we need to let that resolve. Sorry. So it's going to be +X where... Let's see, so that's going to be at least 2 creature cards in the graveyard. So we give it +2/+2, that's going to be a 5/4. And that's going to make it, basically, it's going to be +2. Basically, yeah, they're going to be able to take care. So we're going to let that resolve through. Well, actually, excuse me, you may have it fight. Okay, so they opted not to go for the fight. Alright, so we draw into Plains. Let's go get down Plains. Yeah, I'm going to go for Harpooner. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's go and grab Harpooner. Come on, buddy. Join our side. I always love how convincing Captivating Crew is. Let's go and go to combat. Let's go and swing in with both of them. And that will be at least 7 coming across on our opponent. If we want to go for the Integrity too, that's going to be another thing that we can do. Okay, so knock them down to 11, and then we'll just go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, if they have some sort of -X spell, we can use the Integrity, but it looks like they're just simply just going to bring back Reassembling Skeleton. And they do get back their Harpooner. Now, the cool thing about Captivating Crew, like I mentioned, is that, unfortunately, we had most of our board state blown out by the Ritual of Soot, but going for a Captivating Crew activation, he holds his hand out and says, hey, why don't you come join our red-white aggro side? At least gives you something to do once you kind of dump your mana into that. And we are looking at 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So once we get to about 8 mana, we can actually go for double activations off Captivating Crew. And the fact that it is a 4/3 is a really nice... We have Incarnate coming down. We're going to lose half of our life. It's going to put us down to 10. Yeah, we're going to let that go through. There's not much we can do about that. But we can still at least gain control of it, which is... going to be pretty cool. I like that. All right, so we're going to go to the attack step. That's going to be them swinging in for 1. And then we'll send it... Yeah, we'll send it over to our turn. All right, so we draw the Siege Gang Commander. Let's go for the activation. Because let's see. So if we go for the activation... Yeah, let's gain control. Let's go to combat. We're going to send in 2 attackers. More than likely, we'll see the Reassembling Skeleton block on their actual commander. It's going to knock them down to 7, and then we only have 2 mana, so we'll simply just go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, that will give them another 7 that they can swing across on the back end. That will knock us down to 3, but thankfully we're playing against green-black, so we don't necessarily have to worry about some... Uh-oh, we got a Zoni coming down. Okay, and that will be a pretty good chunk of creatures in their graveyard, too. Now, the only downside is none of their creatures have trample. Yeah, we're going to let that go. Okay, it's going to be 4 bugs. It's going to knock us all the way down to 3, and let's go over to our turn and draw to Make a Stand, which is not exactly going to help us. Now, if we go for Siege Gang Commander, that's going to be at least a few more goblins on the battlefield, and we might be able to stabilize for a little bit. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's get down Siege Gang Commander. It's going to give us a couple goblins on the battlefield. And it's going to give us access to 1 more mana. Let's just simply go and pass the turn to our opponent. Might be able to get lucky and kind of trade with some of these insect tokens, and I might be able to use Integrity, kind of give a little bit of a power toughness bonus to one of our creatures. Okay, so they are swinging in for 1. Let's go and block with one of our Goblin tokens. Alright, so we draw into Mountain. Let's go and get down Mountain. Now, is there any way that we can... So we're at least looking at... So we have 4, 5, 6. We have 7 total mana. So we can go for 2 activations off of Siege Gang Commander. Let's do this. Let's just kind of hold up at this point right now. Let's go and pass the turn, because we can actually use Captivating Crew to gain control of their commander, one of their creatures, before it goes into the attack step. Yeah, I think I like that. And then also we can go for a few more activations off Siege Gang Commander too. So they're at least going to sacrifice a creature to draw a card. They can also bring that back with Izoni. And another thing that we can do is we actually go for Make a Stand, and that's going to allow us to at least kind of get rid of some of these creatures on their side of the battlefield. Okay, let's go for Captivating Crew. No, excuse me, we can only activate that as a sorcery. Okay, I do apologize. I misread that. I thought we could activate that at any time, so I got mixed up on that. They're going to get down Tindershoot Dryad, and they definitely do have the City's Blessing. And they're simply just swinging in with Famine. And actually, let's do it like this. So we go, it will go for Intervention. That does not have Trample. That's correct. So let's go and go for Intervention. 3 damage to our opponent. It's going to put them down to 5. Let's go and declare one of the goblins a blocker on Famine. And then before we go to damage, we'll go for an activation off Siege Gang Commander. Okay, that'll be 2 damage up top. It's going to put them down to 3. And they do get a sapling token. And then let's see what we draw into. Draw into Heroic Reinforcements. So basically what we can do, they can at least go for 1 activation. That's going to make them go to 4. But once we sacrifice Brute, yeah, there we go. Okay, so we get down Brute. That's going to be at least 4 damage up top. They will not be able to survive these sacrifices from the creature. Okay, we do have it. Okay, let's go and go for... Yes, we're going to use that ability. Let's go ahead and target our opponent, and we'll go and sacrifice a goblin. Okay, so they're going to sacrifice a creature, gain life. That's going to put them up to 4. It's going to be 2 damage. Let's go for 1 more activation. Yes, we're going to use that ability. Let's go and sacrifice, target our opponent with 2 damage, sacrifice Brute, and then hit OK. And that should be lethal because that's... There we go. Get our opponent down to 0. We get it. Got really worried there for a second. Maybe we could have closed that out just a little bit quicker. I forgot about the back end of that card. But you can see that... I don't know, Arena kind of leads to some interesting gameplays, or at least some interesting games like that. But anyway, we were able to take it off that one. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Red White Goblin Punch, game number 2. We got lucky with some Siege Gang activation. That is such a good Magic card. I love that card. Let's see what our opening hand is. So we have Double Mountain Plains, Conjali Sunwing, Make a Stand, Militia Bugler, and Legion. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, I love it. We'll keep on this and see if our opponent wants to mulligan or not, and then we will get this game started. It's going to keep. I like it. Get down Legion War Boss, and I've always enjoyed the, I'm forgetting his name now, but I can see the card art. Goblin Rabble Master, that's what it is. I always enjoyed that card. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, we do not have a 1-drop, so let's just go and get down, actually, we're going to get down Plains, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we did see a Highland Lake enter the battlefield tapped, and then just a little bit of a quick reminder, we are playing Arena Singleton, so... If you click on this video, not sure what's going on, basically it's Commander without the Commander, and there's not really any sort of color requirements, but I'm trying to build some flavorful decks for the most part, but it looks like we're playing against Grixis, especially once they do get down that island. Alright, so we draw to Tajik. Okay, let's go to get down Mountain. Now, do we want to go for... Since we are playing against some sort of Grixis build, or maybe some sort of Surveil deck, do we want to see if we can't get Conjali Sunwing to stick? Yeah, I like that. Let's go and get that down. Once we go for that, that's going to put us in a position to where we can at least go for Tajik's Legion's Egg next turn and actually work out really well with the Mentor ability. So, but we were able to lead off with Conjali, hoping that if they had a counterspell, they would use it. But, oh, they're going to have Playcrafter. Okay. So we'll take care of that, and then we'll at least be able to go for Tajik next turn, allow us to swing in. Draw to Siege Gang Commander. All right, let's go and get down Mountain. And then I guess... Yeah, let's go for Tajik. I like getting in on the board, so let's go get down Tajik. Swing it for 3. Got his nice fancy sword, and then one. I'm telling you, I got into Return to Ravnica, and I know I've said that a lot during my videos, but I just I love what Tajik's got going on, man. That is a very loud ensemble that he's assembled to go into war with. So that is, it's definitely very interesting. Let's see if we do hit the land drop. If we do hit the land drop, that'll put us where we can go for Siege Gang Commander. And if our opponent does get down some sort of Planeswalker, Banefire for 2. Okay, that's not the end of the world. It looks like we got Playcrafter Beat 6 going on at this point. Let's go and get down a Clifftop Retreat that will enter the battlefield untapped. And yeah, let's go and go for Siege Gang Commander. That'll allow us to kind of start cleaning up some of the board. And if they do have some sort of spot removal, at least going to clear the way for Legion War Boss. We basically kind of want to make it to where we've got at least some sort of... okay, excuse me, anticipate. All right, so no counterspell. We can get it to where we at least get some sort of value with the very last creature. You know, if we can force them to get rid of some of the counter spells in their hand or some of their spot removal, getting down Legion War Boss is going to allow us to get down some nice Goblin tokens and hopefully kind of take over from there. But like you saw in Game 1, Legion getting down Siege Gang Commander, going for those activations, makes for some really nice board control with that. And also, the way these arena games play out is that you kind of go into this queue or whatever. So it's like kind of climbing a ladder or whatever. As soon as you get to 2 losses, you're out of the ladder or whatever. And so once we kind of keep winning games, the further we go into this ladder, the more prize support that we get. So that's basically what we're doing right now. So that's why when we see these decks, no blockers, we're going to let them come across for 3. But when you see these kind of gameplay videos, you may not see 5 full videos, or you may not see, we got hit really hard with that. That was a golden demise. Oh, that was brutal. Okay, let's click down. We're drawn to Goblin Banneret, and our opponent did get down Night Veil Sprite. So the quickest way for us to kind of bounce back from that is to go for Legion War Boss and get down Goblin Banneret. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's go for Legion War Boss. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Get down Legion War Boss and also get down Goblin Banneret. And then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Let's go and swing with one attacker. Unfortunately, and it has to attack in, so the Night Veil Sprite's going to shank that goblin with its their big little rogue sword over there. But as far as next turn goes, we do at least have... Uh-oh, we got Doom Whisperer coming down. That's going to be a perfect thing to put them in a cage, and we'll see if they end up going for any activations in response to that. Let's go and go for... yeah, let's get the cage down. We need to put Doom Whisperer in a cage. He's definitely, don't need to keep him on the battlefield. Let's go and target Doom Whisperer. And since we are playing a red-white aggro deck, our opponent might not be so, well, actually, they're going to go for some activation, so at least that's going to be a good thing for us to kind of make them lose some of their life total. Okay, so we've got the Goblin on lockdown, and the target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Let's go and go to combat. We'll get that Mentor trigger on Goblin Banneret. Let's go swing with all of our creatures. Oh, I hit one attacker. Oh, that is a... Okay, let's go and take care of Night Veil Sprite. Oh, that is a bummer. I'm going to save that for the damage up top to gain 3 life. Yeah, let's go and get rid of Night Veil. That way it's a little bit better for us to kind of have a clear board. So we're going to make it a +2/+2. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm still kind of getting used to the interface. So basically, we would have been able to swing in for 3 and get an extra trigger on the Goblin Banneret. So I'm sure our opponent's trying to figure out why we held back with some of that stuff. So unfortunately, that did happen. All right, opponent's going to go for Vraskic's Contempt on Legion War Boss. So really, the only thing we did miss out on was getting an extra +1 counter on that Banneret. And then we draw 2 Mountain. Let's go to get down Mountain. And let's go and swing across. Let's go and go to combat. And we'll go for 2 attackers, and we'll need to at least go for Militia Bugler. Yeah, let's go for that activation. That's going to be 2/2/0. Do you want to go one more go? Actually, yeah, let's just keep going. They're tapped out. I like that. That's going to be a real big chunk of mana of damage being dealt to our opponent. It's going to knock them all the way down to 9. Yeah, we're okay with that, because at least next turn, that's going to put us in a position to where we can go for Banneret again. We'll still see Reassembling Skeleton be available to block, but at least we'll make a stand, we can make our creatures indestructible. And draw to Crush Contraband. Okay, so at least it was... Yeah, let's go and get down Bugler, because basically with the Silencer, they're going to have to exile Goblin Banneret. Let's go and get down Bugler. And they're going to go for Essence Scatter. Okay. We're going to let that resolve. They're going to take care of our creature. Now, if we go for Goblin Banner, it's going to be +1/+0. It's going to make it a 2/1. We're not going to be able to push past that. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent, and we'll see what else sort of they get down. We'll see who they target with the Trotta. More than likely, we'll see the Goblin Banneret, and it'll simply just leave us a Goblin on the battlefield. So we'll see what they get down for the turn. They only have 1 card in the hand. And actually, no swinging from our opponent, because they did not want to try to shuffle away. Anything else that we need to go for? No, we'll be okay. Our Goblin Instigator. Yeah, that's good. Let's go and get that down. You know, we get to this point where we can just basically just kind of build up a really nice board state. Or do we want to try to swing in with Goblin Banneret to kind of trade on a... Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and go into for combat. Yeah, let's go and swing in both. We're going to have 2 attackers swinging in. That way, if they go for the Silencer, we can at least kind of go for a chump block on Goblin Banneret, and then we'll still go for Make a Stand. Okay, it's going to knock them down to 7, and then let's go and get down Goblin Instigator. At this point right now, that's going to force them to get back Reassembling Skeleton, but thankfully with Goblin Instigator, that's going to give us an additional creature on the battlefield. And really just kind of want to swarm the board at this point right now. Now, maybe that wasn't the best use of Make a Stand, but at this point right now, with our opponent's life total so low, we really want to kind of put a lot of pressure on our opponent. All right, so we're looking at Ravenous Chupacabra coming down on the our other Goblin Banneret. Then we draw into Heroic Reinforcements. So let's see, we go for Heroic Reinforcements. It's going to be 2 soldiers. That's going to be a 2/2. That's going to be 8. They at least have... couple different blockers, and the Crush Contraband is really not going to be able to do anything at this point right now. Dude, you will to tap out for Heroic Reinforcements. Yeah, I like going for this. Let's go for heroic reinforcements. I feel this is going to be our best opportunity to get any sort of action going. So let's go and swing in with the whole crew on this one. We're going to have 5 attackers. We're not going to go for lethal, but at least at this point right now with our creatures gaining Evil soldiers and gaining haste, we're at least going to clean up on Ravenous Chupacabra, reassembling Skeleton, and get him for some pretty good damage. Alright, knock them down to 3, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. They will be able to bring back reassembling Skeleton, but at least it kind of puts us in a position where if we draw into something like Jumpstart or some of our other kind of damage spells, that'll at least kind of make it a little bit easier for us to swing in. Alright, so let's do this. Let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent at this point right now. Let's go ahead and get down Mountain, and then we'll go and pass the turn. They are sitting at 3, so if we swing in with the Goblin tokens, at this point right now, they're going to just be able to keep blocking with reassembling Skeletons. It's not going to do much for us, and if they want to go for the Exile off of Trotto, they can certainly go for that, but that will at least force them to... Ooh, we got Lazav coming down. Okay, so at this point right now, we need to at least get some sort of... if we draw into that Jumpstart card, that would be really nice because we can at least kind of get rid of Crush Contraband, and that'll be some really good damage on our opponent. And as far as the Lazav activations, they can at least become a copy of a few other creatures, but the good thing is that it's not going to be any sort of enter the battlefield trigger that we have to worry about. Alright, so we draw into Plains, which is not exactly what we wanted to see. Let's go and get down Plains. Actually, at this point right now, this is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we'll go get down Plains because we do have a couple... we do have an Inescapable Blaze, which is basically going to be 6 damage to target, and that'll be something that we can maybe use in addition to something else. And I can't really see us getting into a position to where we absolutely need to cast Crush Contraband or get rid of some sort of artifact or enchantment from our opponent. But yeah, as far as our outs go, we've got Lightning Strike in here, we've got Sure Strike, Shock, Active Treason would be another good thing for us to go for. We can exile some stuff out of their graveyard, and especially if they're just getting some of this stuff going, that's a lot. Lazav activation, that's okay. And then a few other cards, so hopefully we just draw into one of those. We already hit Siege Gang Commander. Yeah, it's in the graveyard. I was about to say, if we did draw the Siege Gang Commander, it'd make this job a lot easier, but we do have a few outs, so we'll see what we draw into, though. And we do have Lazav swinging in for at least 1 in the air, getting that Surveil going. And then Night Veil Predator, Flying Death's Touch, and Hexproof. Okay, so this point right now, we're basically on the burn spell, so hopefully let's keep our fingers crossed and see what we draw. Oh, drawn to Mountain. Okay, let's go and get down Mountain. Yeah, just in case we get into this weird scenario where we need to, like, somehow... We have to discard a card to draw 2 cards. Actually, at this point right now, we're going to go and hold on to Mountain, and then let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. We are looking at least 6, 7 in the air, which is going to put us down to 5. So we're basically on a 1-turn clock at this point right now to draw into an additional burn spell. So, if you pray to the magic gods, if you pray to the Boros magic gods, this would definitely be a good time for you to say a little prayer for our goblins to see if we can't close this one out. Let's go and let them go to the attack step. But if we end up drawing to Inescapable Blaze, that would... I would love that. That would be really good. All right, so it actually looks like we're only going to get Lazav swinging across. That's going to put us down to 1. We're drawn to another Plains. Okay, let's go and get down Mountain, and then we'll go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. They've got 2 cards in the hand. We've got 2 cards in the hand. It kind of gets us into this weird holding pattern of are we both just holding on to Forest. Also, another thing that we can get down would be Deafening Clarion. That's going to give our creature deal 3 damage to pretty much all the creatures on the board. But at least that would allow us to kind of clean up some of these other creatures like Lazav and especially Night Veil Predator. Now, the only downside is the more turns that we go on to where we're not drawing into some sort of action is that our opponent's going to be able to keep getting that Surveil going. So they're going to be able to swing it for 4. That's going to knock us down all the way to, there we go, knock us down to 7. And that will put it at lethal next turn with flying in the air. Basically unblockable. Opponent's going to go for dead weight. Yeah, that's fine. It's going to get -2. Poor little goblin. All right, so let's see. Keep our fingers crossed. Like I mentioned, if you pray to the Boros gods, this would definitely be this would be the time to do it. Oh, we're drawn to Clarion, which is going to be 3 damage to each creature. And creatures you control gain lifelink. Well, that stops it. They can go for Lazov activation and will still basically survive. So they got Reassembling Skeleton. That's going to leave a Trotta on the battlefield. They can bring back Reassembling Skeleton, but at least it's going to take care of them. Okay, I was going to go for Deafening. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and go for deal 3 damage to each creature. Actually, let's do it like this. Let's go and go to combat. We'll send in both attackers. That way we'll at least see the Reassembled Skeleton block. Maybe we get in for 1 extra damage with one of our extra tokens. Okay, let's go and go for Deafening Clarion. That's going to be 3 damage to each creature. Okay, it's simply just going to leave a Trotta on the battlefield, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, they will be able to bring back Reassembling Skeleton. We are looking at 4 coming across. That puts us down to 3. But at least at this point right now, hopefully we can get lucky and get another good top deck and deal some damage to our opponent. We are basically holding on to 2 cards in the hand at this point right now for 2 reasons. One is we do have Tormenting Voice in here. We need to discard a card. Draw into Justice Strike. Oh, okay. Target creature deals damage equal to itself, equal to its power. Okay. Let's go and get down Plains. Yeah, let's just go and hold on to it, because either way, we're looking at 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to hold on to Justice Strike, so let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. If things get a little bit nutty, we can... and I'm not entirely sure why our opponent didn't swing with the Trotta. Maybe they accidentally misclicked, but they could have got in for a little bit extra damage. So depending on whatever sort of creature they get down, then we will be able to get down Justice Strike and get Aurelia's Sword to pop them in the head. Okay, so we've got Reassembling Skeleton swinging in for 1. It's going to knock us down to 5. Oh, excuse me, I know why they're leaving up a Trotta. They're watching out for some sort of haste option. Yeah, that would be kind of a correct play. That's something I would go for. The good thing is at least going to buy us a little bit more time to draw into a... Alright, so we do draw into Shock. Okay, so let's go and get down Plains. And thankfully, with Justice Strike and Shock, this is going to be able to activate at instant speed. So let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. And then that puts them in a position to where they swing in for 4 next turn. They're going to go for each opponent. Alright, so each opponent returns a non-land permanent they control with the highest converted mana cost among them to their owner's hand, then discards a card. Yeah, that's fine. We want to go and let that resolve. So let's go and let that come on through. We're going to send Cage back to the hand. We'll go and discard a card. Let's go and get rid of Crush Contraband. And before they have the chance to draw a card, let's go and go for... excuse me. Well, it's already on there, so they did get to draw a card. Let's go and go for Justice Strike on Doom Whisper. It's going to deal 6 damage to itself. And that does put us in a position where we can go for Cage next turn on Silencer. And it kind of turns into a reassembling Skeleton Clock. Okay, so we got Doom Whisperer, took care of Doom Whisperer. Let's double they're going to swing in. We'll see if they do end up swinging in with the Silencer, because basically that would be, puts us down to 1, and that puts us in this weird position where they can really put some pressure with okay, they are going to go for that. Well, maybe. Let's see. Okay, Reassembling Skeleton. I like that. All right, so we got Reassembling Skeleton swinging in for 1. That's going to put us down to 4. And at this point, we've got 35 cards in the library. All right, let's see what we draw into. Draw into War Leader. Create 2/1/1 cat. Let's go and go for Cage. That way we can exile Silencer. Now, they might have some sort of counter magic to stop this. If they do, they've got it. But at least we'll go and force them to have some sort of answer. Disdainful Stroke. Okay. And then we get down War Leader. Yeah, let's go get down War Leader. That's going to be a 4/4. That's going to make them get something done. And let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. So they did have an answer in Disdainful Stroke for our Cage. And let's see how they want to sequence this turn. Because basically, once we get War Leader to attack, we're going to get those 2 cat tokens on the battlefield. Ooh, we have Ral Zarek. Okay, we're going to let that resolve. So look at the top 2 cards. Deals damage equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards you own in exile in your graveyard. And let's see, so I think they do, yeah, so they've got, it's going to be 7. Yeah, that's fine. They're going to take care of our cat. We do have shock, at least to go for on the reassembling skeleton to stop the lethal damage coming across, but let's go and force him to swing in. Let's go and go for shock on reassembling skeleton. So it's going to leave us at 1. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we draw into a burn spell for 3 damage. Come on, let's go. They're going to bring back to the battlefield. Knock us down to 1. Oh, we draw into a plains. Oh, good game to our opponent. That's a bummer. So we had a couple different outs. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it on this one. We have to concede. I wish we could draw into our deck just a little bit to see how far away a burn spell was. But our opponent's going to get it. You can definitely see where the Singleton format, it's not Commander, but there's some really rewarding gameplay. We were so close to either getting a lightning strike or an act of treason, inescapable blaze, any sort of just direct damage to our opponent would have taken care of them. But we got them down to 3, but they were able to close it out, and that's what makes Magic fun sometimes. So, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Red White Goblin Punch game number 3. Inescapable Blaze. Where were you last game? Oh my gosh. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, I like it. We have Plains Mountain. Oh, we needed you so bad. We will keep on this one. Yeah, if you didn't see game 2, you should definitely go check it out. It was a really fun game of Magic, but who would have thought I would have been so happy to see a 6-mana burn spell that particular game. But yes, as far as our opening hand goes, I like it. We've got some good stuff going on. And then there we go, drawn to another land. So let's go and get down Mountain, and then we have no one drop to get down, so we'll just go and pass the turn to our opponent. And we see a quick pelt collector coming down from our opponent. Looks like we might be playing get some sort of either green-white aggro deck or some sort of, kind of swarm the board and deal some damage. Now, if we do draw into Deafening Clarion, that would be a wonderful draw into because that allows us to kind of clean this board state up. It's going to get down plays. It's going to go for Goblin Crater Maker. It's going to be a 2/2. Yeah, that's fine. Let's get down Goblin Crater Maker. What we can do next turn is at least kind of declare a blocker on one of these creatures, and then well, actually, we can block on one of the 1/1s, and then we can deal that damage to Pelt Collector. Let's go and get down Plains. Do we want to get down Skylight Legionnaire? I think we're okay with that. It's going to be Flying in Haste. Yeah, let's go and get that down. Let's go and go to combat. Let's go and send in just the Legionnaire. Knock him down to 18, and we're going to kick it back over there. Now, as far as next turn goes, we get down Mountain. That will allow us to get down Captivating Crew, and that kind of keeps it interesting to where once we get down Captivating Crew, we can start to gain control of some of our opponent's creatures, especially something like Goreclaw. Okay, so we have Goreclaw. It's going to be a 4/3, and unfortunately, we don't have any sort of sack outlet, so, well, all right, no swinging from our opponent. Luminous Bonds. Okay, let's go and get down Mountain. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, let's go ahead and go for Bonds on Goreclaw. Yeah, I like that. Let's go ahead and go for that. That's going to keep keep the bear in check. Let's go ahead and go to combat. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to combat. I do want to swing with Goblin Crater Maker and Skylight Legionnaire, because if they block with Haunted Witness, that'll give him at least a 1/1 soldier token with lifelink, and then in response to the trigger, we can take care of Pelt Collector. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're going to swing it with both of them. We got 2 attackers. We have at least that 1 last mana available to us. And then no blocks from our opponent. It's going to knock him down to 14, and then we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, before they get an extra trigger on Pelt Collector, we'll definitely be going for Goblin Crater Maker activation. And if you didn't happen to see my Ravnica draft, or my Ravnica sealed event, ooh, got Dawnbringer coming down. Yeah, let's go and go for Crater Maker. Okay, they get down Dawnbringer, and Dawnbringer is going to have Flying, First Strike, and Lifelink. So once we do at least get to 6 mana, that will allow us to go for Captivating Blaze, or at the very least, we're at least going to be able to get down Captivating Crew and gain control of her for next turn. So they will be able to gain some life, but that will be about the worst thing we're looking at. Let's go to get down Captivating Crew. And then anything else, and that does have Flying. Yeah, we're not going to swing into that. So no attackers, and we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Okay, so we've got Angel coming down. At the beginning of each instep, if you gain 5 or more life this turn, create a full 4 Angel. Oh no, this is this is not good. All right, so they're going to be able to gain lifelink off of Dawnbringer, basically, either way. They're going to be able to gain life. And then, yeah, so it's going to put us down. Yeah, we're going to take it. We might be able to get down CGN Commander and kind of go for a few activations. We'll see what else they get down, but that's pretty much exactly what we did not want to see was Angel on the battlefield. All right, so we drawn the Goblin Instigator. Do we want to go for Captivating Crew on... That's going to at least allow us to gain some sort of life link. But that puts us in a position where we have a yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing. We don't have anything else to go for. Yeah, let's go and go for Captivating Crew activation. Let's go and convince the Angel to join our side of the battlefield. Let's go and go to combat. It's going to knock them down to 16, and they'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, they will be able to swing for at least 9. We are looking at 14 coming across in the air, which will be lethal. So that will force us to at least block with Skylight Legionnaire. And we have a Johnny entering the battlefield. Yeah, this is where it kind of shows that we haven't been playing Arena super long, or we haven't invested that heavily into Arena. Our opponent's got a pretty solid Singleton deck. And let's see, I think either way, so we've got 7, 14 in the air. Yeah, they're going to get out of this one. So good game to our opponent. We're going to get knocked out really quick by green-white aggro. And we'll have to go back to the drawing board and kind of redo some of our, at least this particular deck, maybe make it a little bit more aggro. But good game to our opponent. I think there's actually going to be 2 losses for the entire series, which is going to knock us out of the Singleton ladder, which is really unfortunate, but that happens sometimes, especially when we're kind of throwing together some of these fun decks. So let's see what sort of prize pack we did get. See what our card is. We're going to get Dryad Greenspeak, which is nice to have access to that. And then Two-Headed Giant. Whenever it attacks, flip 2 coins. If they come up heads against Double Strike, if both come up tails, it gets Menace until under. Okay, so that'll be interesting. We might toss that into our deck. It's always fun to have cool cards like that. But unfortunately, we ended up with 1 win and 2 losses on our Red-White Goblin Punch. And yeah, we're going to go back to the drawing board, see if we can't make it a little bit stronger. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.